Hello from Bali. I am getting, I guess I'll show you. You see the pool down there? Sort of. Uh, I am getting ready to leave my hotel here, which has been a fabulous little retreat. It's literally called the Parvati Retreat Villas. They're super cute. It's in Ubud. Would highly recommend a stay here if you are in the Ubud area. And I am headed on a little adventure, a little off-gridding adventure, and I wanted to document a little bit of this because I literally just got a message from my husband because I was explaining what my plan for the next 3 days, especially, but like the next 6 days are. And at first, it was met with a little bit of, well, please check in. I'm a little concerned about you. I'm going off grid, and I'm not going off grid, but going off platform in terms of my bookings and the places I'm staying and the things that I'm doing, which are very, out of my comfort zone, to be honest. And I'm talking more about this inside my Unfiltered Immersion program, which if you aren't in there yet, you want to get your little freaking butt in there because it's amazing, with the shares that I'm bringing, and with the work that the ladies inside of there are doing as well in terms of their own expansion and connecting with one another, really stretching the limits of their own comfort zone, their own vulnerability, their own unfilteredness, because the unfiltered AF movement, like unfiltered, and not just in your words, but in how you live your life, because we filter ourselves so much based on what other people think we should be doing, how we should be living our lives, and back in 2016 when I quit my job, my husband and I quit our jobs. We moved to the Caribbean sight unseen. Uh, it was crazy. It was a little crazy, and people thought we were crazy. I remember my mom crying. I think both of our moms cried when we told them, and they were just like not on board with it. They were worried, and the first time we left, because we actually left, then came back briefly, and then left again. The second time it was just like, okay, we'll see you later. The first time it was big, and we've done a lot of things in, and I say we because I include my husband in this, but honestly, it's me who leads this, and I've done a lot of the things that some people kind of consider crazy, or that most people wouldn't do. And that's been reflected to me a lot lately in a lot of the conversations and relationships that I have, and like the things that people are saying, like, I just wish I could do what you do. And going back to the beginning of my business, and even before this business really was a thing, when I first started the Zennial Traveler, my company was a blog, a travel blog, because I thought that was my way of reaching people and sharing, my journey with them and helping them. Because so many people would say, like, I wish I could do what you do. You're so brave, and when we picked up and moved to the Virgin Islands, and in reality, like, yes, that was a very big, brave thing. We moved sight unseen. Luckily, we had met through our insurance agent in Wisconsin, a friend who already lived there, was also from Wisconsin. And they, even though we'd never met in person, they literally went and like checked out our place that we rented sight unseen for us to make sure it was okay. We'd already signed for it, I'm pretty sure, but at that point. But so anyway, I am getting ready to go a little off the cuff here the next few days, and gonna go stay somewhere that I never would. Like, there's no AC. I'm pretty sure, at least. I was there last night, and I actually saw it for the first time. I said yes to staying there before I saw the actual room. I had been on the property before, but never been in the room. I was in there last night and actually used the restroom and saw a centipede, which I was just like, ooh. In the past, I probably would have freaked out, but Virgin Islands has made me pretty numb to those. I still get a little freaked out. But it's just nature, and I'm staying in a place that, like, I largely never would have, like, on a family compound here in Bali. It's not the bougie, nice hotels, which I absolutely love, but I've actually felt this pull, every time I've come to Bali, to get more immersed in the culture. And last year I considered staying with like a family, like just in like an Airbnb, and I decided instead to stay in town in Ubud in like a walkable destination, which was ran by a family, but it was much like, it was really just a hotel. Um, but yeah, I'm going all in and immersing myself. And I was talking to my husband about this, and he I've talked about this a little bit more in my transmission today inside the unfiltered immersion, by the way, so I'm not going to give it all away. But after I left that, he actually said, he responded back to like my last message, and he said, he's like, I'm actually okay with it as long as you are. He's like, it does sound a little crazy though. So just, check in. And that is so huge, because in the past, like, he would have been definitely like projecting anxiety onto me. But it's also, and he had actually said something to my mother-in-law as well. And, he realized, well, I think I'm kind of largely responding to her response at first, because she's just like, oh, she's braver than I am. But even that is, I feel like, a growth, because nobody's projecting onto me like, you shouldn't do this. It's just like, are you sure? And can you just check in? It makes me a little nervous, but blah blah blah. But even after that, he said, I'm actually okay with it as long as you are. And it is a little crazy, but the thing is, then I responded back to him. I said, yeah, but some of the craziest things that I've done have been the most expansive, and that includes, like moving to the U.S. Virgin Islands 9 years ago, sight unseen, and most people wouldn't do those things. And I just kind of look at some of the things that I've done, and I don't even think about it. It's just like, I don't skip a beat. And, one of my sayings is, life happens on the edge of your comfort zone. And it can sound kind of cliche, but it's the truth. The things that scare you, honestly, are the things that are going to expand you the most. And I have learned that over and over again. And I forget it sometimes, and have to be reminded. And I think that this is, just a really beautiful reminder for me of my own expansion, and being able to hold the tension, the fear, to alchemize those emotions related to the fear. Because what is the fear? It's because it's unfamiliar. I'm going to stay somewhere that's not air conditioned. There's no pool. There's no room service. Or, I mean, well, I guess I do have room service, but here. And actually there, they say, like, it'll include all your meals. And so it kind of does include a little bit of that. But it's different than what I have really experienced before, and it does make me a little nervous. But at the same time, I know that there's something much bigger on the other side of that. And when I first said yes, especially sight unseen, the next day I woke up and I was just like, what did I do? But then I'm like, no, this is the right decision. And if you do follow human design, I'm an emotional authority. I did not necessarily fully ride my wave, I would say, on that, but I actually had ridden the wave before we even went. Once I found out that they had a place that I could potentially stay there, because I went there just with a friend and kind of checked out this thing. But once I realized I could stay there, I had already in my mind decided, if that opportunity was there, like, just take it. So is there a little bit of fear and trepidation? Absolutely. Do I know what the next few days are going to bring? No, I don't. But I do know that whatever happens, even if it's not the desired outcome, it is going to expand me. It's going to help me grow. It's going to help me to learn. And, when coming back to business, one of the things in success, one of the biggest things that I see for people, like, that keeps them from moving to their next level, from having the balance between the life they want, the money they want, the success they want, and actually, like, being able to hold it all. I've gone through this myself, and I'm probably in the midst of another round of this, but is when they hold back. And I have been doing that, full transparency, and in different ways in my life recently. And I think this is just that reminder of, like, who the fuck I am. So going back, to the Virgin Islands, people used to say to me all the time, like, I can't believe that you did that, and I wish I could do what you do, and you're so brave. And people even now say things like that to me, and, like, reflect that back to me. And I never thought of myself as brave. I just thought of myself as, like, I want something, and I know that the only way for me to get it is probably to be a bit uncomfortable. And when I think about all the things that I've done that have made me uncomfortable, they've brought the most joy in some aspect. Like moving to the Virgin Islands, it was amazing. I've met so many amazing people. We started multiple businesses there. We have great friends from there, but it wasn't easy. It was really challenging. Really challenging. I remember a friend who had lived there for years saying, like, I feel like the island always tests you your first year, but she's like, I just feel like you've been, like, tested way more than anyone I've ever known. And I think that's a bit of a theme in my life, to be honest. Not one that I necessarily love, but it's being able to really regulate that, and the emotion around that has helped me to hold my expansion more and more every time. So every time I go into something new, every time I grow again, I have to face, what is it that is holding me back from this? And this last expansion has taken me a little bit longer than I thought it would, to be honest, because I feel like, I've gone through some things that didn't work out the way I wanted, and I forgot. I forgot who I was. I forgot, what I'm capable of largely. And sometimes you just need that little reminder, and it might be going on a little adventure for a few days of what you're actually capable of, even in your business, because success isn't just about your business. And if that's how you're looking at it, that is number one big problem for you. It's your life, because in your business, if it's not working, there's a decent chance that there's a parallel somewhere else. It might be in your business too. You might be holding back from things in your business and like speaking and whatever, and coming back to that unfiltered movement. But it oftentimes isn't even about your business. It's what you do outside of that, what you do in your life, what you allow yourself to do that allows you to create what you want. And I believe in an integrative and like holistic approach to success. And the only way to really grow is to expand in all areas, because you can't have a thriving, successful business with balance, with a life you love, and actually be able to sustain that long term if you are constantly in fear and contraction and pulling back in things. It's just not possible, because you're going to reach a point where it feels like too much and you can't hold it, and you're going to collapse. You're going to stop yourself. You're going to hold yourself back out of fear. So if that is what is happening for you, if you are trying to get somewhere and it's not happening, I really encourage you to step back and actually take a look at this. And even more so, I encourage you to just shoot me a message and let's talk about how I can support you. I have a new program which is about to come out. I haven't announced it yet, so I'm not going to announce it here. I'm announcing it in front of the Unfiltered Immersion, but that is coming soon, and it really plays on this unfiltered AF movement, because unfiltered doesn't mean just filtering your voice. Like, that's a huge part of it, and that has been part of my own journey, as well as unlocking and unleashing my own voice from content, from speaking and everything else. But it's how you live your life. Where are you stopping yourself? Where are you filtering? Where are you believing that what you want isn't actually possible, or that people will judge it or won't understand it? Because I guarantee you, it's not them, it's you. And my husband, for like a few years ago, if I would have told him I was doing this, completely different response. He's me pushed out, and I expanded, so he has expanded as well. And your world will continue to expand as long as you allow yourself to stretch and actually receive the things that are coming. Receiving is really important in all areas, and it is an opportunity to grow. And if you're not taking that opportunity, are you okay with that? And there's nothing wrong. I'm not making you wrong for that. But if you want to grow, if you want to expand, shoot me a message. Let's talk about how I can help you do that. And I will show you very quickly. I actually have some opportunities to do this with me right now, that I'm dropping inside the Unfiltered Immersion as well. But some opportunities to have me show you exactly where you're getting in your own way, where you are blocking yourself, where you are not in your fullest expression in your life, in your business, and anywhere else, and what you need to do, the shifts that will make this change happen for you as quickly as it possibly can. So anyway, send me a message, and I hope you enjoyed the story. We'll talk soon.